You know that feeling when you're in a room full of people, but somehow feel completely alone? What if I told you the problem isn't them? It's something you're doing without even realizing it. Here's the truth. Connection is a skill. Most of us never learned how to truly connect because we're too busy protecting ourselves from being hurt. It's like trying to hug someone while wearing a full suit of armor. You're technically making contact, but nothing real is getting through. Next time you're in a conversation, notice what happens. Someone starts talking, and instead of listening, you're already preparing what you'll say next. That's the moment connection dies. When you understand this pattern, you realize you have a choice point. You can keep performing connection, or you can actually create it. Everyone knows someone who makes everyone feel seen and heard. They're not born with a special gift. They just know something you're about to learn. Chapter 1. The Performance Trap. You're not auditioning for friendship. I just need to be more interesting. We think this like connection is a talent show, but nobody connects with your highlight reel. Here's the performance trap that you need to be impressive to be loved. But people don't connect with perfection. They connect with authenticity. Those moments when you're trying hardest to be liked are exactly when you're least likable. When someone asks how you are and you launch into your accomplishments, you're not connecting, you're auditioning. Your friend shares something vulnerable, and instead of staying present, you immediately top their story with your own. Pause and ask, what am I really doing here? Maybe you're afraid that just being yourself isn't enough. Suddenly you're not performing connection, you're preventing it. When you stop auditioning for approval, you become available for actual intimacy. Nobody gets to know the real you when you're busy being the impressive you. Consider your last conversation. Were you present or were you performing? Chapter 2. The walls we mistake for boundaries. What protection is really costing you? Here's something that will blow your mind. What you call protecting yourself is actually isolating yourself. Walls feel safer than vulnerability, so they volunteer to keep everyone at arm's length. When someone gets too close and you make a joke to deflect, you're not setting boundaries. You're building walls. Walls keep everyone out. Boundaries let the right people in. Your coworker asks about your weekend, and you give a surface answer, even though something meaningful happened. But underneath that casual response is fear. What they judge me. When you share something real instead of something safe, a real shift happens. I actually had a tough weekend, gets a very different response than it was fine. When you learn to distinguish walls from boundaries, you can stop hiding and start connecting. Vulnerability builds bridges. Walls just create loneliness. Reflect on your closest relationship. What wall are you still maintaining? Chapter 3. The Listening Illusion. Hearing versus connecting. Between every word someone speaks and your response, there's a space. In that space lies real connection. Most people don't even know this space exists. Carl Rogers discovered this in decades of therapy. The greatest gift you can give someone is your full presence. Someone starts talking. You hear their words. But before you respond, there's a moment where you can choose. Am I listening to understand or listening to reply? When you learn to find that moment, you become someone people trust. Your friend tells you about their problem. Your first impulse is to immediately offer solutions. But in that moment before you speak, ask yourself, do they need fixing or do they need witnessing? That question activates real listening. This presence is your connection superpower. It's the difference between being another voice in someone's life or being the person they actually open up to. Think about someone who makes you feel truly heard. They've mastered the space between hearing and responding. You can too. Chapter 4. The Authenticity Paradox. Being real without oversharing. What if you could be authentic without making every conversation a therapy session? Inside you is a compass that knows the difference between vulnerability and dumping. You can share what's real without sharing everything. This compass is always guiding you. It's the part of you that can think, this person has earned this level of sharing, instead of I'll tell everyone everything or nothing at all. You're on a first coffee date, and they ask about your family. Instead of either lying or launching into your entire trauma history, activate your compass. My family relationships are complicated, but I'm working on them. Now you're being authentic without overwhelming. From this space, you can choose depth that actually builds connection. The authenticity compass gives you relational intelligence. You can be real without being reckless. Think about a time someone overshared with you too soon. You felt uncomfortable, not closer. Now you can avoid doing that to others. Chapter 5. The Mirror Effect. What you judge reveals what you hide. What if difficult people aren't showing you their flaws, but reflecting yours? This perspective shift will change how you see every challenging person. Every trait you strongly judge in others is showing you exactly what you've rejected in yourself. That friend who talks too much, maybe you've silenced your own voice. That person who seems needy, perhaps you've denied your own needs. Just like a mirror shows you what you can't see directly, other people reveal your shadow. Your colleague is overly emotional at work and it irritates you. Instead of thinking they're unprofessional, try what am I not letting myself feel? Suddenly, this isn't about their weakness. It's about your disconnection from your own emotions. You start responding with curiosity. I notice strong feelings come up for me around this. When judgments become mirrors, you stop being critical and become self-aware. Every reaction becomes an opportunity to know yourself better. Examine who irritates you most. What quality in them are you suppressing in yourself? Chapter 6. The Question Revolution. Curiosity as connection currency. Questions aren't just information gathering. They're bridges to other people's inner worlds. Here's how to ask questions that actually create intimacy. Genuine curiosity is like oxygen for connection. It communicates, I want to understand your experience, not just exchange information. What was that like for you? Is worth more than 1,000 facts. Your date tells you they changed careers last year. Instead of asking, what do you do now? Try what made you realize it was time for a change. This isn't small talk. It's soul talk. Your sibling mentions they're stressed. Instead of offering advice, ask what does the stress feel like? What do you notice in your body? You're inviting them deeper instead of staying surface level. Questions that explore feelings and meaning create bonds that questions about facts never will. You can't connect deeply by staying shallow. Identify your go-to conversation topics. Are they creating connection or just filling silence? Chapter 7. The Presence Practice. Being there versus being everywhere. There's a difference between physical presence and emotional presence. One creates connection, the other creates loneliness. Here's how to know what you're offering. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is put your phone down and make eye contact. This isn't dramatic, it's radical in a distracted world. You're giving your full attention, and your full attention is rare and precious. I'm here with you right now. Nothing else matters for these minutes. You're not just occupying space. You're creating sacred space. Your child wants to tell you about their day while you're checking email. Instead of half listening, close the laptop and turn toward them. Tell me everything. What was the best part? You're honoring both them and the moment. Presence prevents the slow erosion of connection that happens when everyone is together, but nobody is actually there. 5 minutes of real presence beats hours of distracted proximity. We've all felt ignored while someone was physically present. The mature approach is choosing presence over productivity. Everyone craves someone who actually sees them. Recall a moment when someone gave you their full attention. That's what you can give others. Chapter 8. The Vulnerability Ladder. Climbing connection one risk at a time. You wouldn't jump off a cliff to learn swimming. So why expect yourself to be immediately vulnerable with everyone? Here's how to build connection gradually. Vulnerability isn't all or nothing. It follows levels. Surface facts at the bottom. Opinions in the middle. Feelings and fears near the top. When you climb this ladder appropriately, you build trust instead of scaring people away. Sharing I'm tired is different than I'm exhausted because I've been anxious about my job security. Both are honest. One is appropriate for acquaintances. The other is for trusted friends. Knowledge is wisdom. When you match vulnerability to relationship depth, you stop either oversharing or underconnecting. Start noticing where people are on your ladder. New coworker, stay at level 1 or 2. Close friend going through something, climb to level 4 or 5. You'll start seeing patterns. I never go past level 2 with anyone, or I jump to level 5 too quickly. When you know your pattern, you can adjust it. Adjustment transforms isolation into connection. You become relationally intelligent instead of relationally reactive. Everyone has a vulnerability comfort zone. Most people just don't understand how to expand it. Understanding yours is emotional courage in action. Notice where you get stuck on the ladder. That's your growth edge calling. Chapter 9. The repair skill. Fixing ruptures before they become chasms. You can damage a connection without destroying it. You can hurt someone without losing them. Here's how to repair what breaks. Relational repair means acknowledging harm and rebuilding trust. You can admit mistakes without diminishing yourself. I was distracted yesterday when you needed to talk, and I'm sorry. How can I show up better? It's like being a gardener. You notice the dying plant and water it instead of waiting for it to completely wither. Your partner mentions you've been distant lately. Instead of getting defensive, say you're right, and I've noticed it too. I've been stressed, but that's not fair to you. Let's reconnect. You're being accountable without being pathetic. Repair skill preserves relationships that would otherwise slowly die from accumulated small hurts. Unrepaired ruptures become walls. Everyone knows someone who never apologizes. That's not strength. It's fragility disguised as pride. Consider a relationship that's grown distant. What small rupture went unrepaired? Chapter 10. The invitation practice. Creating space for others to show up. You're not responsible for forcing connection. You're responsible for inviting it. Create the conditions. Let others choose to enter. Here's how to become someone worth opening up to. Every time you want connection, offer an invitation, not a demand. I'd love to hear what's really going on for you, but only if you want to share. These are invitations, not interrogations. What if their silence means they're not ready? Not that they don't trust you. The space you create determines who feels safe entering. Your friend seems off, but says they're fine. Invitation version. I'm here whenever you want to talk. No pressure. Result, safety and eventual opening. Demand version. Tell me what's wrong. Result, defensiveness and closing down. Same desire for connection, different approach, completely different outcome. When you become conscious of how you invite connection, you stop pushing people away while trying to pull them close. You become the conscious creator of relational safety. Reflect on how you typically seek connection. Are you inviting or demanding? Knowledge without practice is just information. Here's how to turn these insights into your new relational reality. This is where loneliness transforms into belonging. Integration happens through consistent practice, not perfection. Start with one technique and use it for a week. When you're in conversation, practice real listening. When you feel judgmental, look in the mirror. Each time you choose authentic connection, you're rewiring your relational patterns. For the next week, pick just one technique, maybe the presence practice. Every conversation, put your phone away and make eye contact. That's it. By week 2, this will start becoming natural. Small, consistent changes create massive transformations over time. The person who connects deeply with everyone isn't born different. They've just practiced these skills until they became automatic. You can too. Everyone wants to feel less alone. Now you have the roadmap to create real connection. Think about who you'll be when isolation is replaced by intimacy. That person is waiting for you.